And I'll tell you the other thing that's not being reported is the $1.3 billion stolen by Goldman Sachs from the Libyan Sovereign Wealth Fund. It's quite clear that this was part of an investigation being conducted by the Gaddafi government. The anti-corruption agency was looking at the siphoning off of billions of dollars from Libyan oil revenue by certain government ministers. And isn't it funny? Almost to a person, these are the very ministers who defected to the rebels, heralded, oh, they're quitting Gaddafi, going to the other side. They went to the other side because they were about ready to be indicted, and they were going to go on trial for fraud and siphoning off that money. And it's thought that when Saif Gaddafi's son, said, look, we bankrolled Sarkozy's 2007 presidential campaign in France, that some of that money from Goldman Sachs may have been the money that wound up in...
Well, of course, he made a deal with them. It's in mainstream news. They stole tens of billions. But again, Wayne, you want me to believe Goldman Sachs would double-cross somebody? That is how Goldman Sachs are good people.
Oh, yeah, and the other thing, isn't it funny, it's Sarkozy who was the first to go after Libya. He was the first to recognize the rebels. Obviously, the first target of the NATO aircraft happened to be the anti-corruption agency in Tripoli that had all the files on all this missing money.
Well, we all know our government's good. That wouldn't be happening. Come on, they're fighting. They're fighting to give freedom to Al-Qaeda, man.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I wish we still had the video, because we went to the bombed out residence of Gaddafi's son, and I picked up a piece of rubble. I'm going to try to have this tested for depleted uranium, but it's quite clear that NATO said that was a military target. Well, it happened. The only thing I saw in the compound, there was a petting zoo where Muammar Gaddafi was feeding the animals when they hit the main structure. That's the only reason he survived. So they were trying to kill him. I picked up this piece of rubble next to the First Lady of Libya's handbag and a shoe.
Here's some interesting news. This is out of CNN Money. Ex-Citigroup vice president charged with $19 million fraud. And I've been predicting this would happen. They're going to burn some vice presidents and people and have big show trials on TV. They've already had congressional hearings on, smaller timber wolf stuff done by Goldman Sachs and others. And they'll burn some low-level people for $19 million. But if you launder $376 billion in your Wachovia and Wells Fargo, no problem. Or you steal tens of trillions and take it offshore, no problem. But Gary Foster, a former Citigroup executive, vice presidents of these companies are dime a dozen, was arrested Monday on charges he embezzled more than $19 million from the bank. So he's being arrested for stealing from the bankers. And he's going to go to the wall, but it'll also be paraded as if he did everything. According to criminal complaint unsealed in New York, Foster allegedly transferred millions of dollars from various Citigroup accounts into his personal account at J.P. Morgan Chase on 8 separate occasions. Well, you hired him to do that. Come on. Foster, 35, was accused of using fraudulent contracts and deal numbers to mask the transfers. Bank of America takes houses that are paid for they don't even have a deed to. Why not? Oh, but I understand. It's okay when it's done to us, or veterans have their death benefits taken by big banks. That's good. But you don't see, when I was first given the article, I thought, oh, they charged somebody. Oh, he stole from the banks. I'm sorry. He stole from Al Capone, and you don't do that.